welcome back to Land of 10,000 Tears podcast, our first off-season podcast. It's me, Justin, Mitch, and guest star today, home for a couple weeks from the serving in the Army over in undisclosed. I don't know if I could disclose that on the podcast, but we got Nate, Bloop de Scoop. If you could see him, it's just a black screen right now. Anyways,
we're gonna say names tonight, and he's gonna be like, "This guy sounds like he could be good." Because he's been completely out of the world.
He can probably name about 5 current NFL players and probably 2 people on the Iowa State roster, and that's pretty much it. So, we'll be getting to our way too early mock drafts a little later on. We just have a couple things to cover. So first off, obviously some big news going on in the NFL world. We got the Houston Texans implosion. Before I get into that fun fact, you know who they're interviewing for the head coach position? Leslie Frazier, current defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. We all know how that goes. We all know how it works out with Leslie Frazier running the team.
He cannot be a head coach.
He's good. He's a good defensive coordinator.
He's not loud enough.
Dude, he doesn't know how to call timeouts either. That's all I know. But getting into the Texans stuff, just like to say, we will not be trading for Deshaun Watson, no matter what anyone says. So we can just calm down on that. That'll never happen.
Let's go on to destroy this team even further. You're not going to trade.
Yeah, you're not trading for Deshaun Watson. We have too many holes to fill. But
like ever I've seen, Vikings aren't even on the rumor mill about this.
No, yeah, it's mostly like Dolphins and Patriots. But the other interesting,
mostly Vikings media sources starting it just to get
just to get clicks. But the other interesting rumor coming out that I noticed today was that not only has Deshaun Watson played his last snap for the Houston Texans, J.J. Watt is rumored to be. It's rumored that they're gonna trade him. He's never gonna play for the Houston Texans again. And I have no idea how his contract situation is. That is a guy I would trade for because that is position of need on the Minnesota Vikings. That would be sweet. Daniil Hunter and J.J. Watt together. We don't have the money for it, but I'm sure we can make it work.
The thing is, the higher his cap hit's going to be, the lower the draft pick's going to be required to get him off their hands.
Exactly. Because I don't think he wants to be there anymore. I mean, he straight up apologized to Deshaun Watson for the Texans ruining his, wasting him. He just straight up said, "I'm sorry they're wasting you, man." But I mean, I definitely get on your spreadsheet, see if you can make that work, make up that cap space.
Take a look at it on Money Moves.
Money moves this week. You guys can look into the possibility of adding J.J. Watt, what we'd have to give up, who we might have to cut, possible draft picks we could give. So definitely everyone check out Money Moves later in the week. They'll be covering that. Check out Wonton Wednesday. I don't really know what we have planned for that. Wonton Wednesday. Usually something will show up. Wonton Wednesday, possibly released on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. I mean, it's filmed around Wednesday. So, we like to keep y'all guessing.
Within 6 days of a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's within 6 days of a Wednesday. Oh, I see Nate's face. Oh, he's gone. Anyways, all right. So let's talk a little Vikings here, and we're obligated to, seeing how we are centering around the Vikings. So I mean, I know we know obviously like Dom Capers and our special teams coordinator are out. And Gary Kubiak definitely looks like he's gonna be retiring. What?
Did Don Capers pass?
No, they fired him, or he's just left. He's no longer with the organization, but he is most definitely alive.
Really? He's like years old, so.
Yeah, he is. He's very old. But we know Gary Kubiak is more than likely retiring, if not completely official yet. I haven't checked.
Like a kind of like oversight role, less.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to get him to do here.
We'll see. He's always been wanting back in and back out. Sort of thing.
Do you guys have any picks for the 5th offensive coordinator in 5 years or whatever it is? sixth in 6 years or 5 years. I don't even remember. 6 and 6 years, something like that. I mean, North Turner, Pat Shermer, Filippo, Stefanski, and Kubiak. That's 5. Yeah, 5 in 5 years because Dave Filippo didn't even survive. Yeah, he didn't even survive a year. But obviously, one of the obvious choices that I think is a real possibility is them promoting Clint Kubiak, Gary Kubiak's son, who's our current quarterback coach, up to offensive coordinator.
I mean, he did a hell of a job this year.
He did.
Started off shaky with Kirk, especially.
Yeah.
But I felt like, once got past the preseason almost of getting those 3, we started 1-5. Getting those terrible games at the Kirk, and then, Clint kind of dialing them in a little bit towards the end of the season really turned things around for Kirk, and the offense really started clicking more in favor of Kirk.
I think it really helped with the emergence of Justin Jefferson too. That really helped.
Yeah, true.
Another option could be. I mean, I think that's the most likely because we do kind of like to stick in house. I think, at least recently, but Anthony Lynn from the Chargers.
That's who I was actually going to mention next.
You don't like him, Mitch?
You guys go ahead with your point. They don't tell it, man.
No, I just think it would be well, the thing is it'd be a different type of offense, and I don't know if we want to switch because we're just kind of that's what we've been doing so much. But I don't know, just another name there that I think is gonna be wherever he goes. I think he's gonna be a good offensive coordinator.
No, he's definitely gonna get hired on as an offensive coordinator on some team, especially a team that'll be losing an offensive coordinator to a head coaching spot. I mean, Anthony Lynn, I think, would be towards the side. I'd take him over like Adam Gase or Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
I mean, Doug Peterson might end up getting a head coaching job. Who knows? But they're running out. So we definitely, I say, would, interview those guys, interview a couple of those guys, and maybe not Adam Gase. I don't want Adam Gase within 5 states of Minnesota. I definitely interview Anthony Lynn, and you include Clint Kubiak in those interviews. And, I'm sure they can find a couple other guys. As long as we're not like the Lions who hired a tight end coach as their head coach, But I think Clint Kubiak is the most likely option at this point.
Breaking news, I think I'm watching this game right now, and
Tom Brady just won.
Buccaneers just beat the Saints 30-20, and Drew Brees is tearing up on the sideline.
It was his last career game. He's done.
Oh, for 130 yards.
Yeah, he's done. Taysom Hill. It's Taysom Hill time now, man.
Yep.
Oh. End of an era.
End of an era.
I don't like Anthony Lynn because I don't think his scheme fits with what we currently have built, and his play. Zimmer is terrible at play clock management. Anthony Lynn's even worse.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it would definitely mix things up with their team. I mean, he definitely likes to throw the ball, and it is a pass-happy league nowadays. So I mean, yeah. So, with the victory of the Buccaneers over the Saints, we now have our championship game set. That was actually the next segment I had. I wanted your guys' thoughts on the playoffs so far. Now that we officially next weekend it'll be Chiefs, Bills, and Packers, Buccaneers.
Might be a Patrick Mahomes-less AFC Championship.
Yeah, he did leave with a concussion. The man could not stand on his own 2 feet for a moment. I don't even think he knew what planet he was on. If you saw the picture when they got him up, his eyes, there was nothing behind those eyes.
Yeah.
And I watched the play. I watched it live. I didn't see a hit to the head. That's what confused me. No one leveled him. He didn't smack his head on the ground like Lamar Jackson did. Yeah. The guy who tackled him got his hand stuck under his face mask and whipped his head around. I think
and behind too, and his head went to the ground. Whiplash like that.
Yeah.
I think it knocked him out. I don't think he was blackout, but I think he was
like
conscious but awake.
Awesome charge.
Yeah. So, but as our concussions expert, Isaac,
I've had like 12. Yes.
The commentators after the game were like, "Well, we should expect to see Pat Mahomes back next week." How in the world do you get knocked out and come back to play in a week with a concussion like that?
I mean, they have their concussion guidelines that they follow. With a star like Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he was playing on an injured foot all game until then. Yeah, he went out earlier in the game with an injured foot. Honestly, those guys, as long as they can stand on their own 2 feet and count from 1 to like 25, especially Patrick Mahomes, with the Super Bowl on the line, he's gonna play. Unless unless it was a lot worse than what we think it was. The guy's gonna play.
He was knocked out. I don't know.
I don't know exactly what happened. We'll never know the extent.
Yeah, I know exactly what happened. It doesn't take an expert to see him.
We know he couldn't stand on his own. Like he got up and just almost fell right over again. They carried him off the field basically.
Yeah, our old boy Mike Remmers carried him off the field.
Yeah, Mike Reamers is what Romo called him, or Nance, whoever. But I mean, speaking from experience, like concussions, they effing blow, man. Like the headaches, it'll be hopped up on a lot of drugs if he plays next week. If they have Chet, we saw today, Chad Henne with that offense, they still have a chance. I mean, I can see them possibly having Mahomes available just in case. Not starting him, but having him available in case.
You guys notice how Tony Romo completely broke down like every big
Tony Romo is so smart. Well, he breaks it down before it happens.
It's one play, and it's Tyreek running this long drag route across the fucking field. So he starts in the slot and runs from left sideline all the way over to the right side, and no one can keep up with him. So he's throwing the route.
How about a shotgun pass on 4th and 1? With like a minute in the game, a rollout. A shotgun rollout pass on 4th and 1 on your own like 45-yard line.
Zimmer had those nuts.
Yeah, Andy Reid has the biggest ball. Andy Reid is carrying his balls around in a wheelbarrow. Like it is the South Park. He is Randy from South Park, man. Like that man microwaved his nuts before the game. Just straight up, like he slapped him down on the table and said, "Deal with it." Like this is what I do. And it works. Like before the game in that situation, you just try to get them to jump off sides 100% of the time and then call timeout, punt it. We're now 99.99% of the time just because of mother effing Andy Reid and his giant ass balls. And I honestly respect it, and I want a coach like that. Mike Zimmer would have probably called a timeout with 25 seconds left on play clock and been like, I don't know what to do. I've never been in a situation, man. Like, what do we do?
You got your mind down south today.
Gosh. Yeah. And if I would trade 10 first-round picks for Andy Reid at this point, honestly. He could take this roster and make a Super Bowl. That's what I want.
Anyway, so let's get back to so AFC Championship, Chiefs versus Bills. Who do you guys got?
Depends on Mahomes. It's going to be a good game. They played earlier in the season. And it was only a 5-point game. Or it was like 24-17 or something. It was 24-16. I don't remember. But the Chiefs obviously won.
I honestly don't like. I'd be good with either team as long as I want the AFC to win the Super Bowl this year. That's all I want. AFC to win the Super Bowl.
All I care about on that game of Patrick Mahomes, obviously, if he plays, I'm taking the Chiefs. I think it will be a good game. That'll be the best game of the weekend. I'm taking, but for the NFC Championship, Buccaneers at Packers. I have no doubts that Tom Brady will manage that game perfectly, and they'll beat the Packers in Green Bay, just like they did earlier, just like they manhandled them earlier in the season.
I hope so.
I'm thinking the opposite. I just saw the Buccaneers give up 20 points to the Saints offense that is run through Alvin Kamara, and Drew Brees is actually like a plus minus, like completely on the minus side.
Yeah.
All references here. He's probably a minus 30 when he was out in the field today. So I'm gonna say Aaron Rodgers goes in, or I guess the Buccaneers go into Lambeau and get absolutely throttled. Probably by, I'm giving it plus 10. And I want to see a Bills Packers championship, and I want to see Josh Allen hurdle Jair Alexander's big
just like it did to Anthony Barr,
and win that game for Buffalo, because it's. I mean, I'm cheering for teams that have won a Super Bowl. So
yeah. I mean, the Bills are the AFC Vikings. They're 0-4 in the Super Bowl. My dad's family is from New York, and they're all huge Bills fans. They founded Bills Mafia on it. Like,
have they broken many tables?
And, oh, dude, my great uncle, who is like 85 years old, definitely has broken quite a few tables in his lifetime. But honestly, I'm cheering for the Bills at this point. They're my number one team, and then the Chiefs, just because I hate the Packers. And I mean, you don't cheer for Tom Brady. Like, I don't want. The Chiefs are the slightly more likable Patriots at this point, I think, with the dynasty that they could really create here. But honestly, my pick for the Super Bowl is probably Bills, but Chiefs Buccaneers. Mahomes versus Brady in the Super Bowl would be great. Like, that would bring in a lot of money versus Josh Allen against the Packers.
I think the Bills come with a lot of hype.
Yeah,
they really do, but the Chiefs are just so good.
The Packers are the biggest fan base in the nation, so
yeah.
The Packers?
I think it's like second. Yeah, they surprised you.
Yeah, Packers is like everyone who lives in a state that doesn't have an NFL team. They just like mostly go Packers.
When I was in Hawaii, everyone there was a Packer fan for some reason.
Oh, when I was in Vegas, everyone was a Vikings fan. I guess they just like them because they could really make a lot of money betting against them. But still, you know, like I'd go sit down. They're like, "Oh, where are you from? Minnesota?" And they all be like, "I met people from England and Ireland. Where are you from? Minnesota." And they're like, "Oh, go Vikings." I'm like, "Okay." Vikings have a huge following in the UK apparently. But
I can imagine.
Yeah.
The UK likes losers apparently. Oh, bye, Nate.
He wasn't really saying much, was he?
Yeah, I think he was having some technical difficulties throughout that. But
just don't let him in anymore, Justin.
I don't think he'll even try. He was on his phone. He couldn't get it on his laptop. So, well, that's Nate. Nate for everyone. I don't even think he saw his face or heard his voice. Scoop de bloop. Or boop de skloop, or whatever it was.
I'll cut that out of here. I was talking about Nate leaving.
All right. So, all right. The moment we've all been waiting for. We know Mitch. Nate texted me, just got to quick restart the old computer. So he might try to get on this laptop for the mock drafts here. So let him in if it's on his laptop, if he's able to. But we know Mitch did his own little mock draft special, the self-entitled draft expert. Well, yeah, boo.
Next on YouTube.
That's what happens when you give Mitch full control of our Twitter page and you give him the password into the YouTube account and he'll do these takeovers. I'm just kidding.
Don't hate us because you ain't us.
I do not follow college football very closely. Obviously, Justin. I don't know how closely you follow. I know you're a big Iowa State guy. Obviously.
Yeah.
Mitch likes to sit in his basement with his huge notepad and watch. You know, if he could have 50 games on at the same time, he'd have 50 games on, and he'd be able to pay attention to all. So we'll give Mitch his self-entitled draft expert title until we get an actual.
It's a bash on me too. It's a bash.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
You won't be the draft expert though. It'll always be self-entitled.
Yeah, exactly.
Self-entitled. He's not our draft expert. I don't want anyone getting confused. He is not our draft
expert. I almost
expert.
joined the Zoom call with the self-entitled draft expert.
I would have had Justin kick you out. Don't worry. Once on Wednesday this week, we will have a full segment on our self-entitled draft expert. Tune into that. All 15 people that have watched it. So, it's. Anyways, let's get into our mock drafts. I accidentally deleted mine, so I'll try to. I remember vaguely who I picked. I didn't make any trades. I know Mitch is very trade happy. He put on his Rick Spielman pants.
We'll hear about that.
As people may know, or if you're just watching this for the first time, I am not a big fan of Rick Spielman. So this is kind of a mockery draft board that I selected and went through on the PFF mock draft. Justin, if you want to pull that up, it was pretty much a very big insult and an FU to all the times that Rick Spielman has traded down and just got more and more assets in overtime, and he loves those 5th through 6th round picks.
We'll give you a little look at what Mitch is talking about here. So you can see made a few trades right off the bat.
3 trades in the first round.
Explain the reasoning behind this, little Mitch.
All right, so when I first the board that was brought to me, so I still had Christian Darrisaw. For some reason, every time I do a PFF mock draft, Patrick Surtain always falls down to the Vikings too. Really interesting. He's a good value pick at 14 even. So and Barmore was still there, and a few other guys. I think Slater was still on the board as well. So I'm like, there's a ton of value still on the board. I'm gonna go ahead and find somebody that that felt like Oh, and I think Devontae Smith was still on the board at this moment too. So I think the Redskins came up and traded with me.
Washington football team.
The Washington football team. Go ahead and bleep that out, Justin. Washington football team came up and they made. I mean, I gave them a pretty good deal. They received the 14th pick, 115th pick, and the 194th pick. For the 19th, 51, we got a round 2, and then we got future round 2. So I'm looking out for next year as well. So they're the football team, so we're gonna have a mid-tier second round pick next year as well. Then, so I took that pick, then I turned it around to the Jets, the Jets, Jets, and received the 23rd and 34th pick. So I upgraded my 4th round pick or my 2nd round pick, and I still had value still. So I still had Darrisaw, and also I like the late round tackles that are projected. There's not much of a distance between Darrisaw and all the other tackles like Cosme and Vera Tucker out of USC. So I kind of just kept trading down and see that value, and it kept happening. And Azeez Ojulari, one of the biggest risers this past season, he absolutely dominated in the SEC championship game and the later games during the season, and just a sack. I think he had like 3 sacks in his last game with Georgia. He was just a beast, a speed edge rusher. Reminds me a lot of Yannick Ngakoue, the way he just can run around the tackles and out run them on the side. So I feel like he was a really good pick, and the Ravens made that happen. Talking about Yannick, so I got even more value next year, and I gave up a 3rd round pick for next year as well. So. And then I got Cosme, as I talked about, later on in the 2nd round. And then Javion Holland is a safety for some reason, but on PFF, they have him as a cornerback. He's going to fill that safety role that we're going to have open with Anthony Harris not coming back to the team because we cannot afford him. And then there's just a bunch of other guys. I even made another trade. And I got Caden Stearns. I doubled up on safety. Got Kellen Mond. We really need to draft a young quarterback this year, just so we have some sort of a semblance of a suitable backup quarterback on this team. Because Sean Mannion and who's the other guy from Washington, Jake Browning. Yeah, they're not it. They're not a suitable backup. And Kirk Cousins is pretty steady. He's been healthy pretty much his whole career, so it's only a matter of time. You know, the football gods are not going to smile upon us all the time with the quarterback position. So, yeah, and Deontay Brown's another guy I kind of like. He's just a bigger. If you look at pictures of Deontay Brown, Google him. He is a freak. He looks like the Hulk. So, yeah, that's my pick. Those are my picks, and that's my, Spielman wet dream mock draft.
All right. Justin, I'm doing my draft right now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna basically fast forward to the end here real quick. I made some massive trades. Yeah, you're gonna want to hear this one real quick. We basically give up all draft capital for them this year, next year, and 2 years from now. But I really like the team I'm building here. I think it's a Super Bowl contender.
How many picks do we have next year?
Just saying, apparently Jacksonville will not give up Trevor Lawrence for 3 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and like 5 third-rounders. Apparently they don't like that option, which I think sucks for them. But I did make a trade with the Detroit Lions, moved up to 7. I gave up a 14th pick, 2022 first rounder, pick 78. And I got Penny Sewell. Not a bad our cornerstone left tackle for the foreseeable future. I decided to make a trade to number 13 with the Chargers, giving up a second-round pick in 2022 and a bunch of other picks this year. And they graded my trade with the Lions a D-, so PFF can go after themselves. That's
you're trading in conference, so it makes sense.
I mean, yeah, but I went and got don't know how to pronounce his name, the Michigan edge rusher, Quiddy Pay or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Made a trade up there. Don't worry, we made another trade up to 18 with the Miami Dolphins. Gave up 2023 second-round pick. Picks 129, 139, and 3 more picks. I kind of just threw a bunch of picks in there. Took Patrick Surtain, A- grade at pick 18. Really just rebuilt it. Cornerstone left tackle and some solid defensive players there. Then I made one more trade with 6 more picks and got Wyatt Davis at 35. And, honestly, I think no draft capital for 3 years, making 4 picks within, in top 35. Honestly, I think the Vikings should really look into this option here. That's my take on it. That's my 30-second mock draft right there. Thank you.
Mitch, I want to hear
Mitch's face. Mitch, did I pronounce that Michigan guy's name right?
Yeah.
Quiddy Pay?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed with myself.
I mean, those are good players. I mean, Wyatt Davis is hurt. I think he might tear his ACL.
Building for the future.
Yeah, what you just said right there, building for the future, is exactly the opposite of what you just did.
He come
all future assets we had.
You get rid of Riley Reef. You put Penny Sewell in there at left tackle. Honestly, I think what I did, very understandable. The trades might have been a little.
Oh, I see what you did. So we're gonna give away all the future capital we have.
I'm in it to win it, man.
But you're gonna here. I'm gonna give it a twist on this. I'm gonna build on Isaac's draft right here. Since we drafted Penny Sewell, we cut Riley Reed. He did it again. Feel my mind.
We know where Mitch is at right here.
We cut him. So
Mitch, do you have 2 screens going? So, Mitch, you're currently watching Riley Reed on your dual monitors. That's where we were at.
Oh my
god. Anyways, your thoughts on the Vikings cutting Riley Reed?
So you brought up this wild mock draft that we were just talking about, and I accidentally slipped a slip of the tongue for Riley Reed instead of Riley Reef. So if we cut him in your situation, we'll have enough money. Get this. We might have enough money to sign your boy, J.J. Watt, which we were talking about earlier.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking of when I traded our whole future away just to get Riley Reed's replacement.
Get rid of our future and bring in the old.
Yeah, dude, we're in it to win it. Who cares about, 5-10 years from now?
Kirk Cousins.
I will trade away our future for a Super Bowl, one Super Bowl, and one Super Bowl appearance. I just want the feeling of watching my team.
I want to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd prefer to win, but man, honestly,
How shitty it would feel to get blown out in the Super Bowl.
That would be pretty bad.
If we lost a hard-fought game by 3 points, I'd probably cry harder than if we got blown out. Honestly,
you'd cry harder if we lost by 3.
And just knowing how close we were, like if we got blown out, I've been like, okay, well that blows. But like if we lost by 3, and no, if we lost because of a missed field goal, you would have to put me in a fucking hospital before I fucking jumped off my roof. I think the state of Minnesota would be
in a video game. You do that. In a video game, you do that.
In a video game, yes. Anyways, but
all right. You want me to run you down what I got?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So my first time around this, at pick 14, Trey Lance was still on the board. And after us, we still got the Washington football team and like the Colts, who definitely would love a quarterback if they got it. So I got some great value out of that trade. I gave pick 14 to Washington football team for pick 19, 51, and 76. So I loaded up there because, I mean, they're not going into this draft thinking they're getting one of those 5 quarterbacks.
No.
But I just gave it to them. So I traded down to 19, and at 19 I took Kwity Paye, edge rusher, and then he's obviously a beast.
It was still available at 19 for you?
Yeah.
What settings did you have this mock draft on?
The original.
I didn't really know what to do with that.
So then at 51 in the round 2 that I got, I took Jalen Mayfield, tackle out of Michigan. Also, I mean, they talk about how he could play guard. I don't know if he got hurt or just opted out, but I don't think he played last year, but he was really good in 2019.
Yeah.
And then 76, I went Paris Ford, safety out of Pitt.
Good pick.
And he could work on his technique, which we got veterans to help with that, like in Harrison Smith, but he is he's a beast. He's very physical, tackles good, beast. 78, 2 picks later, took Trey Smith, guard out of Tennessee.
Okay.
He's a big boy too. He's got a lot of power. Could work on flexibility, but he was like a 5-star athlete in college. So he would be at 78, I think that's a good pick.
He doesn't exactly fit our scheme just because we like athletic offensive linemen, which is why we get effed in the pass blocking department. So
yeah,
he could probably help a lot with that, set the anchor.
Yeah, but we have also got we'd have Trey Smith and Jalen Mayfield at this point.
Yeah,
and then at 90 in our 3rd round pick, I went Dylan Moses, linebacker out of Alabama. Because we were talking, I don't think we brought it up in this podcast, but Eric Wilson might be looking for a bigger contract than we can afford. I mean, we're sticking with Kendricks, but we might look at things for Anthony Barr. I don't really know what's going on there, but I could see a good use for a 3rd round linebacker. Dylan Moses out of Alabama he's an aggressive athlete. He hits hard, and he has a high ceiling, pretty much. He
played all 3 positions, all 3 years at Alabama, inside, outside, both sides.
And he's just aggressive. He plays aggressive, and that's awesome for a linebacker. You can do that. You can bring that into the pass rushing game, which is what Zim's looking for.
Yep.
And then just 2. I went through 2 more picks, and at 115, I took Eric Stokes, cornerback out of Georgia. He's a good turnover guy. He's got good eyes, but he's not the fastest.
And he gets a ton of penalties on him.
Yeah. So, I mean, he would be a work in progress, but hey, that's what Zimmer's good at, right?
Yeah. What's his name? I'm trying to think. UFC corner we drafted, who's on our team, but he really isn't on our team ever because he's always hurt.
Oh, Mike Hughes.
Mike Hughes. It's exactly Mike Hughes.
It looks like we got Nate coming in. See if it works this time.
It'll throw in some good content here.
Then I want to go over. I did one other mock as well with a little bit. I only traded once, but only for one pick. I traded up into the second round rather than trading down. So at 14, I took Patrick Surtain out of Alabama, cornerback. I think if he's on the board, Zimmer would love that. And he tried to talk, even though we spent.
I'd definitely take another corner in the first round. That always works out great.
I mean, listen, Jeff Gladney definitely had his up and down this year, but he's not an outside, one-on-one, man-on-man cornerback. He's perfect for the slot. Can really find himself there, and he did in the beginning of the season. He had a pretty good beginning of the season where he was in the slot, but once he started migrating towards that outside with more and more injuries piling up at that position, that's where we saw him struggle and get beat. So
honestly,
I think Gladney
like Surtain, trade back up. That'd be
Well,
awesome.
I think Gladney is kind of an Antoine Winfield type. Like he's that really good tackler.
Yeah,
that's what I think that's his best aspect is his tackle.
Honestly,
but Surtain, like you said, Surtain could bring that actually like man coverage ability.
Yeah.
I mean, once we get our pass rush back, I know Jeff Gladney and the whole secondary will definitely benefit a lot more. They had a lot more on their plate with absolutely no pass rush this year.
Yeah. Then we went. The second round was coming around, and I saw that there's some good offensive linemen that were starting to go. So I made a trade with Atlanta for their 36th pick, and I gave them some later round picks for that. And with that pick, I took at 36 round 2, I took Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC, and I think that was a great position for him. And he could be a first rounder. And
he'll be a late first day, early second day guy. So
yeah, so I think I made that trade right. Like I think he was going next. So I think Atlanta, or even sooner, if we want to get a guy like that, would be a great trade in the second round. Then in the pick 65, I tried to address so we got Patrick Surtain, we got cornerback, we got tackle guard. So I tried to go for the pass rusher that I know Zim's going to be looking for. I went Rashad Weaver out of Pitt.
Good pick. That's a great pick.
Tell him about Rashad Weaver, Mitch.
Yeah, so Rashad Weaver, going into last year, was considered like a late first round, one of the top premier edge rushers in this upcoming class. Unfortunately, he got injured early on in the season and opted out for the rest of the year. And he's got the size. I think he's like 6'7", 6'6". He's around probably 280, 270. I don't really know his weight right now, but that's what he weighed in last year. And he's got great hands. He reminds me a lot of Daniil Hunter, where he uses a lot of hand fighting. Doesn't exactly have the bull rush ability that Daniil has, but he uses his hands really well. His good steps. The only thing I would say, he doesn't have the explosive speed like a Kwity Paye or even Rousseau, but that's kind of to be seen because Rousseau also took the year off as well. So he's got a lot of upside, and I feel like Andre Patterson is a perfect person to take that that injured college superstar and turn him into something like a Jeffrey Simmons, is who I'm
sure.
If there's anything Andre Robinson is known for, it's creating these defensive linemen out of apparently nothing. I mean, no one expected Daniil Hunter to be the guy he is today, aside, from when he's not injured. But I mean, I'm as long as they have the size and the raw ability, they're a good fit for the Vikings.
Yeah. So then I'm just kind of basically addressing needs here. So we got cornerback, we got Elijah Vera Tucker tackle, we got an edge rusher. So now I'm looking at that Anthony Harris gap that's probably going to be here. So with pick 78, I go Paris Ford again, safety out of Pitt. We talked about earlier. I think that's a solid late third round pick there. And then I went back at pick 90. I went back to offensive line, more of an interior based guy who we all already talked about as well, in Trey Smith, guard out of Tennessee. And then that's as far as I went that time.
So how many picks did you give up? How many picks did you have inside the top 100 there?
In my second one?
5.
Is it 5?
5.
Wow, so we went from having 2.
Yeah.
We have 3 original.
Oh, well, we have 2 third-round picks, I believe, and 1 first. Yeah.
Originally, we have 14, 78, and 90.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got 2 extra there.
Man, you guys really did.
Because we have a bunch of round 4 through 7.
If your picks happened, I think the future is really bright for this organization. That is a perfect picking draft class to build on for this.
You talking to me? I know, man. I know. My draft is my draft.
You just cut the Achilles heel of this team. And
I think if Rick Spielman were to watch this podcast, I think he might have an aneurysm listening to me talk about my draft. Did he really just trade away all their 7th-round draft picks?
I think he would.
Man's a moron.
He turned it off after he watched he heard about my draft results because he'd just be finished after you're done with the video.
Oh, man, he probably would have heard you mention Riley Reid and be like, "Oh, okay, I need to switch browsers."
You saw my 3 draft picks, my 3 top first-round draft pick trades, and you're like, "Oh."
That's got to be the most trades ever in a first round.
Dude, man, I'm telling you. I mean, PFF gave me a D- on one of my trades. Honestly, I think, dude, giving up 14, a future for next year's first, and pick 78 for Penny Sewell is not a D-. I don't care what you say. 2 firsts. I mean, we're moving up. We're moving up to get a generational tackle right there, man.
Generational tackle's not worth that much. That's the problem.
Honestly, at this point with the Vikings, they're so bad at, handling the O-line. I would give up that much just to have one guy that we drafted work out. And I don't want another Matt Khalil. Dude, I don't care.
This isn't Madden. O-line doesn't determine your season.
Oh my gosh! If this was Madden, I flipped the Jets to Super Bowl winners in 1 year. Oh, behind Zach Wilson and Justin Jefferson. I didn't.
While he's playing on rookie.
No, I play on. I was doing so well. Justin bleeped that out. Dang it! I was doing so well. Did I?
You already said.
There's Nate.
Nate, you want to chime in here?
Nate, what's your take? Who are the Vikings taking at 14? We can't hear you. We see you talking.
We need a lip reader in here.
I think he said if Quiddy Pay is available, we should take him.
I think he's agreeing that we should trade up and get Penny Sewell and just give away the future. That's what I heard.
But Justin, when you were doing your mock draft, and Isaac, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it.
I did a real mock draft earlier. I just accidentally deleted it, and so I just do that one together while you guys were talking.
If there's so many quarterbacks taken in the top 5 picks or 8 picks, whatever is projected, that just means more and more people are gonna be coming down the draft board. And if we have, like Justin said, Barrett Tucker is I don't think he's a 14th overall pick. And Cosme also is going to do really good in the combine and just show off because of athleticism for being a 6'7", 310-pound offensive tackle. If we're able to trade down even one time and gain a second-round draft pick back, maybe early second round with like
what I did?
Yeah. With the Jets, the Dolphins, the football team.
Because I got the 5th, I think the 5th pick in the second round with my trade.
Honestly, I think there's a good chance that Trey Lance is there at 14 and we could make that trade.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance. It's not a for sure thing because you really never know who's that desperate for a quarterback. But
Colts, Washington.
Yeah, I mean
possibly Steelers. I don't know what Big Ben's doing.
The reason why you have so much leverage on these picks and these trades, and PFF knows this as well. New England's right behind us.
Yeah.
Exactly. They would definitely take someone like Trey Lance. I don't think that Jared Stidham is their future. They know that. It's pretty well known.
That's the best situation we could get in. We need to have so much trade value for that pick.
I know. And I got a lot from it.
we just gotta wait and see what happens. But
Yep.
Also, I completely forgot that when I was going through the whole draft, how many teams forfeited draft picks because of COVID protocols.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots and the Saints, and I don't know. I think the Raiders did at one point. I don't remember. Oh, wait, this is interesting. And this, in my messed up one, did Tanner Morgan went last pick in the 6th round to the Steelers.
Interesting.
Except he's going back to school, I believe. So.
Yeah, I think PFF still has Brock Purdy in the draft.
I didn't see him when I was looking, unless he went in the first 3 rounds.
I think this
They got rid of
Friday
him, man.
is officially everyone on PFF mock draft, everyone that's declared for the NFL draft.
I didn't think Tanner Morgan did. And, well, they had Mo Ibrahim, the Gophers running back on there, and he said he was going back.
Really?
Next year's. I believe he said that.
Not quite updated yet, maybe.
Yeah, but
breaking news, by the way, Chargers hire Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley as their head coach.
Oh, jeez.
Rams.
Smart move. Man, have you guys? All right, what is with the Lions hiring a tight end coach to be their head coach? I guess he was interim head coach for the Dolphins at one point, but that was just, I found it interesting with all these guys out there. You would expect to get head coaching jobs. They hired a tight end coach. I'm not really a big coaching expert in the NFL.
Fine with it.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so hey, good episode. That ran really long. Wow. We had a lot to talk about. We're gonna be what?
Last week, everyone.
Okay, I still didn't hear what you said.
I didn't either.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay, I said sorry we missed last week. We were busy with everything going on in the world. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, we'll try to stick to a once a week. Depends on what exactly is going on. Might pick up on some, Minnesota Twins stuff coming up here. We kind of just stay away from the Timberwolves because no one really wants to associate themselves with the Timberwolves ever.
I might have some words on the Wilds starter.
The Wild are off to a hot start. 2-0 against both against overtime win. Against the Kings. Kirillov. I always forget his name. He's good.
Yeah.
Out of Russia, but yeah, so we'll try. Hopefully we're back up next week. We should be. We have plenty to talk about. So thanks for joining us today. This has been 10,000 Tears.